Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So without further ado, let's start with our today's topic, which is tables. So, first of all, tell me one thing. What are actually tables? Now, the dictionary meaning of a table is that a chart of facts and figures shown in horizontal rows and vertical columns. Now, tables are one of the most versatile methods of systematic presentation of quantitative data. In the context of quantification of variables as either a continuous or a discrete variables, tables give the opportunity to present the maximum number of continuous variables with respect to a set of values for one discrete variable. Indeed, the amount of data that can be presented on a table is much higher than that which can be presented on any type of graph or chart. In fact, the data that can be presented on any type of chart, whether it's, I would say, that pie chart or your bar chart or your XY curve, alright, they all can also be represented on a table. Which means what? That if I'm drawing any kind of these things, I'm representing my data in any of these forms. That can also be represented in form of a table. And what is the reason for the versatility? What it could be? The only reason for the versatility of a table over the standard charts is because if we want to present any additional information on a table, it's just a matter of adding either one of the column or one of the rows. Okay? Either I can add rows or I can add columns to it and describe the continuous variables to be shown as heading of the row or column. So this is basically what is table in very layman terms. That alright, table is a chart of facts and figures shown in horizontal rows and vertical columns. So either they have to be in form of horizontal rows. Let me change the color. So yeah, either they have to be in form of horizontal rows or they have to be in form of vertical tables. Vertical columns actually, I'm so sorry. So now basically in the previous lecture, if you people have seen, I have introduced what is data interpretation, and we actually studied that what actually is data, what is data interpretation, what are the various variables, whether those variables are continuous or whether those variables are discrete, then what are the graphs of discrete and your continuous variables. So for your continuous one, the graph is like this. Okay, it can either be this straight line or like this, anything. And for your discrete one, that has to be nothing but it has to be in form of your points. So this is for your discrete one and this one is for your continuous one. And then at the end, we basically said that all right, we have data. But what is the importance of data will only come when we know how to represent data. Because nobody in this world has time to actually go through hundreds and hundreds of rows and columns to actually interpret and compare that data. For example, if you are a manager, I took this example itself in the previous video, that if you are a manager and you have a lot of data, you cannot make comparisons or make any, good kind of comparison between the two kind of data if you do not have like a set ground on which you need to compare. And even if you have a set ground on which you need to compare, can you compare lakhs and crores of data? You cannot. So you basically need to know how to represent data in such a format that it is easy for you people to actually see data and interpret this data. So this is what we studied in the previous lecture, and if you haven't seen that lecture, then just go to EduRev website or app right now and just see that lecture first of all. It's a short one, but you will actually get interested in what is data interpretation, what is data, and you'll understand a bit about it. And yeah, it's also important. So now the thing is that the discrete variables which are used in tables. So in the previous video itself, I actually talked about what are your discrete variables and what are these variables. Like for example, name, age, like this is your name. So this name, age and role, these are basically your variables. Now they can be discrete or they can be what, continuous. Now some of the discrete variables which are used in tables, I have already told this in the previous video, but let me tell you some of them right now as well. So some of them are like your geographical or location based. For example, it can be your city, it can be your state, it can be a country, it can be anything. All right. Then your time period in terms of what? Months, quarters, years. Now the unit of time, that is, a quantity in which I can basically tell you a time, whether it's minutes or seconds or hours or years or quarters or months, what. So that is basically what are the units of time. So I can also use time period, right? I can also use individual or company name based. So I can take name of any company. Say there is a company which is, say, ABC Limited. So suppose if there is a company which is ABC Limited, so the name of that company, or if there is any name, take any name, any name. Suppose there is a name, say Simran. Alright, so there is a name Simran, or there is any other name like Jessica. So these are names, alright, or any name. Suppose the short form of Jessica is Jess. So yeah, I can take any name. So all these names are what? All these names or name of a company can also be taken as discrete variables which we can use in tables. Apart from all these things also, there can be n number of things which we can use in tables. So the thing is that tables are very, very versatile, as I've explained you. But the point is, these definitions are not going to come in your exam. Nobody is going to ask what is table. The main thing is how we interpret table and how we do questions by seeing a particular table. So I've given one table here. Let's take few questions and let's understand how all this, the information which we can derive from table can actually help us to get marks in the exam. So this is question number 1, which is displayed on your screen. Now, whenever you see any table, all right, first things first, there will be a question. So suppose this is question 1. Why to suppose? It is actually question 1. Okay. So question 1 is actually given and here a table is given. So before reading all the questions which are given, like suppose if I do next slide, these are the questions which are related to this table. All right. But what we need to do before actually going to these questions, I need to understand that what this table is basically saying. So first of all, this table is actually showing me some states and the percentage increase in some values. And these are the values. Alright, the states which it is showing me is Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Manipur. So these are the states in accordance to which I have to deal with this data. So here whatever is given is percentage increase is given. Now you can see in percentage increase there are some values which are in negative. So this negative value basically indicates what? It indicates decrease. Decrease in values. Okay, it indicates what? It indicates decrease in values. Now the thing is, in your first thing they are given total literacy. So it is total literacy from the year 2005 to 2015. Now one thing is very important here. You have to keep track of this time, 2005 to 2015, 2005 to 2015, 2005 to 2015. Why? Because sometimes what is going to happen is in your question your data is going to be given from for example from 2010 to 2015. All right. And when that question, in any question which is related to that table, in that question it might be asked any XYZ thing in the year, for example, say 2020. Now that data was originally not given in your table. So either there is going to be some hint or some kind of information in the table or in the question itself from which you can derive that data, or there is going to be no hint. If there is going to be an hint, then you can do some calculations and you can find the data. Correct, you can find the answer, which is absolutely fine. But in case you're not given any hint or you're not given any form of data, then you cannot actually determine the answer to that question. That's why you have to be very, very vigilant when it comes to years like these. Now, what is happening here? Total literacy rate. So this column is for this is for total literacy rate. Then your female literacy. This is for your female literacy. And change in percentage population of growth rate. So this is for change in population, which is your percentage population growth rate. So this is your growth rate. Whenever there is negative, that means the growth rate is negative, which means that it is basically decreasing. All right, so just take a screenshot of this. I would recommend that you just pause the video and note all these things down, because it's going to take no more than 2 minutes. You do not have to draw it in a very, very fancy way. You just have to, just write all the important things. Just do not use scale or anything. Just take a pencil and write all the important things in a tabular format. Do not be, very, very dramatic with your drawings and everything. You just need information to solve questions. So let's go to question. Okay, so question number 1 is, which of the following states show a higher percentage increase? Now, before actually starting with these questions and questions in general, I would like to tell you one thing, that majority of the questions in the tables are very, very in a very, very verbal format, which is to say that you do not need to do much calculations. You can just, interpret the table, and then you can just dive down into the questions and really do that. But the whole thing is that if you are doing questions, those questions will be very, very easy if you are having a very, very good hold and understanding of the table which is provided. If you do not know much about the table, or you cannot interpret what that table says in a very, very good sense, then you cannot do questions in correct format. And you can see that in one table there are 4 or 5 questions, sub questions, which are basically given. So it's important because if you're able to understand one table, then you can actually solve 3 or 4 questions related to that table. So it makes it all the more very, very important. So here in the question, what is given? Which of the following states show a high percentage increase in female literacy than the percentage increase in total literacy? Now the options are Maharashtra, Himachal Pradesh, Kerala and Karnataka. If I go back here, then I can see that out of the options which were given to me, Maharashtra and Kerala are the one which satisfy the conditions which are provided. So that means Maharashtra and Kerala are going to be the options. So here Maharashtra is going to be the option and Kerala is going to be the option. That means 1 and 3. So at the end, this is what is my option. That is C is going to be my option. So this is your answer. Now you can see that because we have interpreted the table very, very carefully, therefore we were able to solve this in very, very quickly. There are some mathematical questions which are going to come, like for example 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. All these are very, very mathematical in their own sense. So we are going to solve this and understand that as well. So question 2 says, for literacy, the numerical ratio of percentage increase in the total literacy to the change in percentage population growth is nearly what? Now we have to take what? We have to take absolute values only. Now in this question, what we can do is, now I know from the table, okay, where's the table? Here's the table. Okay, I can say that the minimum percentage increase in total literacies for which state? I would say this is for Bihar, correct? This. So let's solve for Bihar, correct? Let's solve for Bihar. So what is going to happen here is, for Bihar, if I see the things, it is 22.34, it's 19.48 and it's minus 0.04. Also we have to take what? We have to take only the absolute values. What does that mean? That basically means that this basically means what? This basically means that the absolute of 0.04 is going to be what? It's going to be 0.04. Minus 0.04, absolute is going to be 0.04, and this is how we are going to solve it. Alright. So what is going to happen here is, for the state of Bihar, the numerical ratio between the numerical value of percentage change in total literacy to the change in percentage population growth rate is going to be what? So this is going to be what for Bihar? This is going to be very, very simple. We have just seen that what it is. It is 22.38. So it's 22.38 upon 0.04. And this is going to be nothing. It's going to be 2238 upon 4. And when I solve this, what is this going to be? This is going to be 5 and 8.5. Okay. So this is going to be 558.5. So this is 558.5. So what is my answer? My answer is 558.5. That is option B. Simple. All right. So let's go to next question. What does next question says? Okay, next question says the ratio of percentage increase in female literacy to the percentage increase in total literacy is maximum for which state? Okay, So here what we need to do is we basically need to check only those states where your female literacy has grown by more than your total literacy. Okay, so if we are going to check these states, what are these states? Okay, let's go to the table again. This was the table. So in table you can see that female literacy has grown more by total literacy in which states? Those states are Kerala, Maharashtra and Manipur. So it's Kerala, Maharashtra and Manipur. So these are the states we are going to deal in. Okay, these are the states which I am going to deal in. So the asterisk ones. So let's go to the question side. Yep. So what we need to basically do is the respective ratios for these states are going to be, okay, so I'm going to write the respective ratios of these states. So I'm going to write for Kerala, for Maharashtra and for Manipur because these are the three states which we shortlisted. So for Kerala, I'm writing K for Kerala. So for Kerala, it is going to be, I guess it was 31.20 upon 30.17. Correct? Correct. For Maharashtra, it's going to be, for Maharashtra, let me write MH. For Maharashtra, it's going to be what? It's going to be 25.92 upon 25.87. And for Manipur, I'm going to write M. So for Manipur, I'm writing M. So for Manipur, it is going to be 29.68 upon 29.61. So this is for your Kerala, this is for your Maharashtra, and this is for your Manipur. Now in this case, the comparison between the ratios can be done how? It can be simply done by looking at the difference between numerator and denominator, and we basically need to find out the highest difference between numerator and denominator. So what I'm going to do to find the answer is I have to see the numerator and denominator in all these three. In all these three, I'm going to check the numerator and denominator, and I have to find the difference between the numerator and denominator. So if I go, then the difference in Kerala is going to be 1.03. So it's 1.03 in Kerala, the difference. Then for your Maharashtra, it's 0.05, correct? And for your Manipur, it's going to be 0.07. So this is very, very easy to calculate the difference between your numerator and denominator. You just need to subtract. All right. Now, this process of comparison could be used whenever the denominators of ratio being compared are in the same range. And you would need to be careful to use this process in case of denominators are widely different. Okay, so we need to find out which is maximum. So maximum is going to be for Kerala. That is the answer. Okay, got it? I hope it's fine. I hope you are basically understanding what is happening. So I will just recap whatever happened. First of all, we studied what are tables. This was the slide. We studied what are tables. Then we studied that, okay, tables kya hote hain, what are rows, what are columns, and we basically got to know all these things about variables and all that stuff. Then we came on question number 1, in which we first of all discussed that what all is given in the table, and then we dived in the question. We did question first whose answer was C, and then we did question 2 whose answer was 558.5, and we did question 3 whose answer was Kerala. As simple as that. Now coming to question number 4. So what does question number 4 says? Let's see it. Okay, question number 4 says the ratio of the overall simple average of the percentage increase in female literacy to the simple average percentage increase in female literacy of those states where the percentage increases more than the overall averages. Okay. Now the thing is, when you are actually reading this question, you will be very, very confused. है कि बोल क्या रहा है? इतनी सारी चीजें दी हुई हैं. But in reality, it's nothing. It's very, very simple. You just have to be very, very focused when you are reading a question. So, okay, let's read this once more and then we are going to solve it. So, what does the question says? Question says the ratio of the overall simple average of the percentage increase in female literacy to the simple average percentage increase in female literacy of those states where the percentage increase is more than overall average. So we basically need to take a ratio of these two, of overall simple average of the percentage increase in female literacy of this thing, of percentage increase in female literacy to the ratio of simple average percentage increase in female literacy of those states where the percentage increase is more than the overall average. Okay. So we need to take the ratio between these two. Okay, so how are we going to solve this thing? Now in this question, you would first need to find out the average of the second column. Okay, because that is what we are supposed to do. So if I go back, I need to find the average of this thing. So what is going to be the average of this thing if I add it all? 10, 17, 3, 6, 4. It's going to be 67.264. Okay, so the total is basically 264. So what is the average of this? So if I find out the average is nothing but it's 264.76 upon, there are 10. Okay, 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10. So this is the average, and the average is nothing but 26.476. So this is the average. Okay, now the states where the percentage increase in female literacy is greater than this percentage. It's greater than this percent. So it's greater in which all? It's greater in Haryana. Very good. It's greater in Himachal. Yes. It's greater in Karnataka. Yes. It's greater in Kerala. Yes. It's greater in Madhya Pradesh. No. It's greater in Maharashtra. No. It's greater in Manipur. Yes. So these are the 5 states I need to see. That is Haryana, Himachal, Karnataka, Kerala, and your Manipur. Now, keeping an eye on the options at this stage, you have to keep an eye on the options at this stage. So these are the 4 options which are given. The only thing is how to solve a question in the most efficient format when you are sitting in an exam. The thing is, you need to keep an eye on your question and on the options side by side. You cannot solve of question in fully way and then actually see what the options are, because कभी-कभी क्या होता है, common sense से आप कुछ options को reject कर सकते हो. You can reject few options just by using your common sense. So there's no need to actually solve the whole question and then find the answer and then take, because there might be cases when you can actually eliminate few of the options by common sense, and then solving the question is very, very simple. So you can eliminate a hell lot of calculations when you're doing stuff like that. All right. So keeping an eye on the options at this stage can help us to reduce the calculation. Correct. Now, for instance, if the option A, that is, what is the option A? Option A is 0.972. You all can see. Okay. Now, let's suppose that this is the correct option. Let's suppose we are just assuming that this option is correct. Okay. Now, if this option is correct, then the average percentage change in female literacy of the states which we have mentioned, they have to be about how much more than 26.476? It has to be how much more? 26.476 से कितना ज़्यादा होगा? I hope it is, if I calculate, it's 3 to 4%. Correct. So it has to be 3 to 4% greater than that, greater than 26.476 if this is the answer. Now, why is this? This is because of the required ratio is 0.972. It means that value of the average of 5 states was 1. Then the average of all the states would be what? 0.7972, which was already given. Now, if I say that it is 0.972, can anyone tell me that, okay, 0.972 is actually approaching 1? Okay, so 0.972 is actually approaching 1. I hope you people know what is the, concept of approaching. Approaching basically means that a number is approaching a certain number, but it's not actually that number. So 0.972 is approaching 1, but it is actually not 1. So we people can say that, okay, 0.972 is approaching 1 and is approximately 3 to 4% increase, which I already told you that it is 3 to 4% increase. Now this gives us a roughly calculated targeted value of what? So 3 to 4% increase hai. Initially we were saying 26.476 hai, and we are taking the option as 0.972. So what is going to be the targeted value? Targeted value is going to be, if I take it, it's going to be 27.2. So it's going to be 27.2 is the targeted value if I say option A is correct. Okay. But now if I take, suppose, okay, I'm taking option C now. Okay. Because we have already eliminated B and D. Now why we have eliminated B and D? You have to see it. I have explained you why we have chosen A and why we are taken C. But now you people need to tell me why we have eliminated B and D. Reason being, I have already explained it. I've already explained that there are few options to the questions which you can eliminate. Now you have to go and find this, and then you have to tell me, maybe via text or via the comments, anything. You people have to tell me. You have to be very, very vigilant enough to find out why we are actually eliminating few options. And this is just right in front of you. It's just right in front of you. You have to apply some common sense. Okay. So let me work with option C here. C is 0.89. So if I feel that 0.89 is correct, then what is happening here? Then the average percentage change in the female literacy, which we were talking about in the 5 states which we originally mentioned, is how much more than 26.476. It's how much more? I guess if I take 0.89, then it is going to be 10 to 12%. If I calculate it, it's going to be 11 to 12%. Okay. Now this gives us a roughly calculated targeted value of what? If it's 0.89 and if it is 26 point this, so roughly targeted value is going to be what? 29.3 is the roughly targeted value. Now taking a look at the 5 values of the percentage increase in the female literacy rate, we can see what is the average of all those numbers. So what were, okay, let me find those numbers for you. Okay, those numbers were what? Those numbers were 28.67, 31.00, 26.63, 31.20 and 29.68. And all these are very much higher than 27.2. Okay, and they are likely to be around what? 29 plus. So 28.67, 31, 26.63, 31.20 and 29.68 likely to be around 29 plus. Correct. So option C is going to be the correct option in this. So option C is the correct option. So okay, this question was a bit difficult. So let's try to figure out what is happening in this. So what is happening in this? What is happening? Anyone who can tell me. What I would suggest at this point from all of you who are watching is that you need to actually pause the video and give a thought that what all happened in this question. We were finding the ratio between the percentage increase in female literacy to the simple average percentage increase in your female literacy of which states? Of those states where the percentage increase is actually more than the overall average. Okay, so we went to the table, we actually found out the number of states. Those were 5 in which we needed to deal with. And what were those 5 states? Those 5 states were Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala and Manipur. Alright, and then we calculated how? We calculated based on these options. Now I have done for A and C and I have eliminated B and D. But the thing is that if suppose someone who doesn't want to eliminate the option because he or she is not able to find which options to eliminate, in that case you have to solve for A, B, C and D all. Alright, in that case you basically have to solve for all of it. You need not to solve for one, but you need to solve for all of it. Correct. So in that case you are going to solve for A, then you are going to solve for B, then you are going to solve for C and then for D. But in case you are vigilant enough to actually find out कि ठीक है यार ये options सही नहीं लग रही. So in that case what you can do? You can eliminate options. We eliminated B and D. Why did we eliminate B and D? That I'm not going to tell you. Why I'm not going to tell you? Because you have to tell me that. You have to actually find out and you have to tell me that. Alright, so you have to do this. This is your homework. You people are going to do this and you are going to tell me. So let's come on question number 5th. Alright, the ratio of the simple overall average of percentage increase in female literacy to the simple overall average of percentage increase in total literacy is approximately equal to what? Now we have already calculated the total of the female literacy. We have already calculated it. What is it? You people have to tell me. Correct. Come on. Come on. What is the total of female literacy column? We just calculated it in the previous question. Exactly, it's 264.76. Okay, now the approximate total of the total literacy column is what? So we'll go back. So this is my total literacy column. What is the approximate of this column? So approximate of this column comes out to be I would say 274. Correct. So in this question, what did I calculate? Okay. So the total of female literacy column was 264.76 in the previous question we only calculated. And the approximate total of the total literacy column was around 274. Okay, so if I take ratio of these two, what is the answer which is going to come? The answer which is going to come is a ratio of 0.96. So what is the answer? This is the answer. Correct. Now, which state exhibits the highest total literacy? So I need to tell which state exhibits the total highest literacy. Now, we do not have any information to tell us the figures of absolute value of total literacy in the table, correct? If I see the table, so we basically do not have any kind of information to tell us the figures of the absolute value of total literacy. Okay, the table is only giving us the percentage change. The table is only giving us what? The percentage change in the total literacy over the decade from like 2005 to 2015. So that means we cannot find the answer. करेक्ट, बिकॉज हमारे पास एब्सोल्यूट वैल्यू तो है ही नहीं है ना, हमारे पास तो परसेंटेज चेंज है. And in question, what is asked is it is asked the highest total literacy. So that means this question cannot be determined. Simple. So आप बहुत easily ये चीज़ देख सकते हैं that when we are interpreting a table, there is hell lot of information which you need to be vigilant about simultaneously. You need to see that what all is given in the table, what all we can interpret from the table, what all is not given in the table. Alright, and you have to accumulate all that information to actually find the answers to the questions which are given. ये बहुत simple है. Just because we have done first question in tables and it's basically kind of messy, तो आपको ये लग रहा होगा that it's kind of difficult, but it's actually not. If you're going to give 1 or 2 minutes, that is question 2, let's just not go there. Okay, if you're going to give yourself 30 seconds to 60 seconds to actually interpret this table, which is not that tough, you can easily, very very easily, with the help of common sense, solve all these questions. Okay, so let's go to question number 2 to understand tables. Okay, so this question, what we are given? We are given cities, and here also we are given cities. Okay, तो इस question में basically करना क्या है? There are parcels and वो एक like cost of sending a parcel from one to another, and I guess these are the parcels. So we have to solve questions based on this table. Okay, so these are the cities की Allahabad to Allahabad जा रहे हैं. How many packages? Then from Mumbai to Allahabad, then Mumbai to Mumbai, Mumbai to Kolkata, Mumbai to Delhi, and Mumbai to Lucknow, and similarly. Alright, so let's solve questions. First is, among the following, the charges will be the least for sending a parcel from what? Okay, so this is the cost which we are talking about. So charges are least among which? Charges are least among, I would say, Kolkata to Mumbai, cost 7 only, while the other three cost 10, 25 and 10 respectively. Correct. अब यहाँ पे कोलकाता to Allahabad था, but that wasn't the option. So it's going to be Kolkata to Mumbai. Simple. Let's get back to question number 2. For sending parcel from Kolkata, the least charges will be, so it's either Allahabad, either or Mumbai, or your Delhi or Lucknow. So if I see in the table, so it's going to be from, let me change the color, it's going to be from Kolkata to Allahabad, 5. Okay, so it's going to be Kolkata to Allahabad, which is your 5. Correct. Okay, question number 3. For which one of the following couriers will the charges be different from the other three? Okay, now the cost of sending, so the options are Mumbai to Allahabad, Allahabad to Lucknow, Delhi to Lucknow, and Delhi to Mumbai. So now in the table, where's the table? Okay, here's the table. Okay, the cost of sending a parcel from Mumbai to Allahabad, Mumbai to Allahabad is what? 10. Then from Allahabad to Lucknow is also 10. And from Delhi to Lucknow it is also 10, are same as 10. Okay, and the cost of sending a parcel from Delhi to Mumbai is 25. So from Delhi to Mumbai, if I say, it's 25, different from the other three. So it's going to be from Delhi to Mumbai. So Delhi to Mumbai is the option. Correct. So you can see previous table mein when we were solving, there was so much numerical stuff which we needed to do. But when I'm solving this question, then I just have to look at the table and there are like oral questions in this. Ye hai option, ye hai option, ye option. Correct. So you just have to be very very vigilant enough कि ठीक है भाई चल क्या रहा है. Not all the questions. Like what I would suggest you people to do is, जब भी tables के questions आते हैं, and suppose you people aren't that much good in, let's suppose, I know you people are very very good at calculations, but let's suppose that you people aren't that much good in calculations and calculations consume a major portion of your time. Then what you can do is, you can actually study a table and its questions in like 30 to 45 seconds, and then you can interpret and make a decision कि ठीक है ये वाला जो table है थोड़ा oral है. If I'm going to be very very vigilant and if I'm going to pay attention to a table, then I can orally solve the sub questions of this table. All right. But if you people feel that there are hell lot of questions and hell lot of, you know, not only questions but calculative questions in this table, then you can actually skip that for later. Okay, this is what I do. If I feel कि यार बहुत ज़्यादा calculations हैं, जल्दी जल्दी calculations नहीं होंगे और maybe जल्दी जल्दी में calculations गलत होने की बहुत ज़्यादा possibility है, then I leave the questions for later. Okay, just solve the questions पहले जो easy है solve करने, and फटाफट से get all those brownie points and brownie marks फटाफट से, and after that you can solve the questions which you feel that yes you can solve, but that might take a major portion of your time. Okay, let's get to next question. The next question is, if the cost per kg, so cost per kg is assumed to be directly proportional to the distance between the cities, then it can be inferred that Mumbai is farthest from what? Now Mumbai is farthest from, okay, this is your Mumbai. It is farthest from, I would say, Delhi, because it involves the greatest cost, and cost is proportional to what? Distance. So all right, I would change the color. Oh my god, which color to take? I've taken all the colors. So it's Mumbai to Delhi, I would say. Correct. So this is 25. So Delhi. Question number 5. The cost of sending a parcel from Mumbai to Allahabad and then from Allahabad to Lucknow varies from the cost of directly sending a parcel from Mumbai to Lucknow by how much? So I would say this as, where's the table? Okay, here's the table. Okay. So what we need to do is, the cost of sending a parcel from Mumbai to Lucknow via Allahabad is going to be what? So it's Mumbai to Lucknow but via Allahabad. That is from Mumbai to Allahabad is 10. Then from Allahabad to Lucknow is 10. Okay. So it's going to be what? It's going to be 10 plus 10. So because Mumbai to Allahabad is 10 and from Allahabad to Lucknow is 10. So it's going to be 10 plus 10, and what is 10 plus 10? It's 20. Correct. So the cost of sending a parcel from Mumbai to Lucknow directly is also 20, because if I'm going to do from Mumbai to Lucknow is also 20. Hence there is no variance in the cost. Okay. So when here what is happening is, I am sending from Mumbai to Allahabad and then from Allahabad to Lucknow, and I'm doing from Mumbai to Lucknow directly. So these are the two routes which are followed. Now from Mumbai to Allahabad the cost is 10, and from Allahabad to Lucknow the cost is 10, and directly from Mumbai to Lucknow the cost is 20. So if I add this is also going to be 20, which means that cost from Mumbai to Allahabad and then from Allahabad to Lucknow is 20, whereas when I take the route directly from Mumbai to Lucknow, then that is also going to be 20. That means there is no variance in the cost. So what is going to be the answer? No variance. Start with question number 6. We did question number 5. In question number 5, what it was, the cost of sending a parcel from Mumbai to Allahabad and then from Allahabad to Lucknow varies. Okay, here basically we did no variance, but the answer was 20, right? Because here we calculated 20, so here we do not have to do no variance, we have to do 20. And in question number 6, what is happening? Let's read question number 6. So in question number 6, which of the following routes of sending a 1 kg parcel will have no extra cost even if the parcel has been sent directly from origin Allahabad city to the destination city? Now it can be seen that there is no variance of cost in either of these three cases. So there is no variance of cost because if I say Allahabad to that, then from Mumbai to Allahabad and Delhi, Mumbai to Allahabad and Lucknow, and Kolkata, Allahabad and Lucknow. So if I see, then there is no variance. There is no variance in the three cases. That means all of this is the answer. As simple as that. So I hope you people found this video interesting. I hope you people understood whatever I was like teaching you about tables. I hope you people thought that tables thoda sa samajh aa gaya. If you want to further watch any videos related to table, or you want to do any tests, or you want to see any PDFs of the content of tables, then you can go to EduRev website or app and you can actually click there on your course CAT, then your DI, and then tables, and then you can go and actually find whatever material you want. Thank you so much.